Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Friday. I didn't really have to think about it today because Friday is one of my favorite days. Not like it means anything to me because I still work on the weekends. But I love Fridays because we have hot, messy topics. And I love when we have enough topics where I'm just like pulling my hair out, like, where do we begin? Because, when you come on and you only have like 3 or 4 topics and you're like, how do we make this work? Is it worth doing it? We don't have a problem today. We don't. So before we jump in and welcome our 2 girls over at Taste of Reality, which, by the way, they are on TikTok and they're not a fan of the name, but they are fighting for that Taste of Reality handle. It's T_of_R on TikTok, already at almost 20,000 followers, guys. So you have to go check them out. Let's welcome Ashley and Imani. Smash the like button and show some love. It is Friday. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
I know. Guys, we're on a music deficit right now. We're on a music
beatbox. My beatboxing is about the level of Justin Timberlake. I'm sorry, Imani, but that's where I am in my beatbox journey.
Are you at mom's house today?
Me? No, I'm at my house. The lighting with the wind, the time change. Yeah.
Oh, Thursdays is mom's house.
Thursday's mom's house. We like to catch up on Dancing with the Stars and Dateline together.
I'm going to have that now with my mom since she's moving here today.
It's so much fun. We like lay in bed and watch murder documentaries. It's an amazing journey that I have with my 75-year-old mother. I'm thankful every day.
I'm finding myself being like weird, oddly like kind of like a parent. And it's weird. Like I called my mom and she's on her way with her stuff. And Jason, super sweet, like drove 2 hours down to go meet her. And he's like helping her get situated. And my mother-in-law's down there too. And they're helping her. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys, I have hot, messy topics. I can't do this today. But I'm like calling her and I'm like, okay, mom, do you have house slippers? Do you have toilet paper? Do you have toiletries? She's like, I am your mother. I'm like,
well,
fine.
Don't they say at a certain point in life it switches where like the child becomes the parent and the parent takes kind of like the more child role where you always check in?
Yeah. I think that's where we're at right now.
Y'all are both like sweet summer children and so young. I'm going to tell you, after 40, it gets so real. Like you really do start caring for your parents. And the fact that my husband and I don't have kids, like we're in charge of the adults. It's fine. We love our parents, but yeah, it's a journey.
Well, I told my mom too, and guys, don't yell at me in the live chat because I have bad gag reflex and I'm like, it's awful. Like I can't smell a litter box. I'm super bad. And I always told my mom, I'm like, Mom, if you ever get to the place where you need any help, I will bring you outside in a bathing suit and I will turn on the sprinklers to like wash you and I will soap you up and do all of the things. Or hire somebody to come in and do that because I love you so much.
No,
I'm not putting you in a bathtub and I'm not like, but then also, you know what I mean? Guys in the live chat, I'm just kidding. Please don't. They're going to eat me alive. So,
but also stand in your truth because I'm the same exact way. Like, I don't want to wipe anything, wash anything necessarily at all. Unless you're like, you can fit in my arms.
My mom's going to be like, I'm literally a fully functioning woman right now. Why are you talking about this? Sorry, Mom. Okay, guys. So we have so much to discuss today. So everyone in the live chat, please let Imani and Ashley know where you're watching from, along with myself. But from Brittany and Jax to Leah McSweeney and Andy Cohen's legal team facing off just yesterday to the Justin Lala of it all, Teddi and Edwin, the Real Housewives of Dubai, the foreclosure that is Dorit and PK's home, and also the reunion. I don't know where to start.
That was a scroll. That was an Angie Katsuneva's scroll of topics that we're starting with today. And I, for one, am overwhelmed in the best way possible.
I think since we're okay, so let's just start at a ground where let's start here. We're going to start with the Jax Taylor of it all.
Okay, a jump scare? You could have given us a warning.
There was no warning.
There was no warning. But Jax Taylor and I have like a weird history. We've never gotten along. We worked together at SIR. He threw a cigarette in my face. Terrible. We just don't get on. And I'm blocked by Jax, which...
Same. Hashtag blocked by Jax.
Love to be a part of that club. But Brittany ended up doing the Hot Mic podcast. And while doing the Hot Mic podcast, she was talking to Alex Baskin, and she called him very clearly a POS and said that this was a very manipulative relationship. And she was married to a narcissist. And she was happy to take the time when he went into the facility to file for divorce so she could get out of this relationship. Now, I thought the discrepancy was the divorce was filed way before.
That's what it sounded like. The separation was filed. This was legal documents in January. It has all been speculation as far as when the divorce. That has all been speculation.
Okay.
Yeah, the timeline is kind of murky, Adam, to your point.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, but okay, that's there's a divorce happening, so that's neither here nor there. It's happening. Doesn't matter how we got here. But now she was also talking about how she was dating Julian Tinsley or hooking up with him at some point, and that didn't end up going anywhere because we found out that Julian is another Class A D-bag, which means Brittany has a type.
Yes.
Brittany, you got to do better, girl, because we love you. We're rooting for you. You're like America's sweetheart over there. You're just like she is the sweetest woman ever if you meet her in person. Have you guys?
I have.
I've never met her.
Oh, she's
couldn't be lovelier, sweet as pie. She even said for me, I was like, Brittany, every time I hear the words I'm engaged, I think of you and not friends because of what she said on the show. And she goes, I'm engaged. And she's just the cutest thing ever. I love Brittany.
She seems super sweet. One of my friends, shout out Dev, she lived in Kentucky as well. And they don't have any crossover there, but like they go to all the same places when Brittany's back, like in Louisville or Lexington, whatever. And she met her at one of the like Comic-Cons that the VPR cast did in Kentucky. And she was very lovely. So I've heard nothing but great things about Brittany.
Yeah.
Has Dev ever been to Versailles? That's what I need to know.
Not Versailles. Okay. Now, after this interview came out, Bravo and Alex Baskin, you guys are messy as hell, and I love it. Because literally back to back, we put out an interview with Jax Taylor.
Very smart. Very smart.
It was very smart. I'm not even going to put words into this man's mouth, you guys. I am going to play the clip for you. I'm going to let you guys tell me what you think about it.
Prepare for a jump scare.
Here we go. I don't agree with this, but here we go. Thank you to Breaking the Rules Pod Clips.
Wants to see me fail. I really do. So? I think so. I think she wants to see me fail. I think she wants to prove everyone right. And to be honest, I've done nothing wrong since I've been out. I've been overly nice. I've actually been nice to her more now than I was when I was married. I go out of my way for her. And there's some, which is weird. She says all these negative things about me, but yet she'll call me like 2 days ago. Come over. You want to have some drinks? Come over. You want to hook up? Like she'll go out and publicly humiliate me and call me every name in the book. But 3 days ago, she's like, hey, you want to come over and have dinner? You want to come over and have drinks? Don't tell anybody that I'm doing this. So people don't know that. She talks all this shit, but then, she'll be like, come over, come and hang out, come on this. So I don't mean to blow her cover, but, I'm not all that bad. She wouldn't be calling me over. She wouldn't be saying, let's go to the pumpkin patch with Cruz. Let's go to Disney with Cruz. Let's take Cruz together to school. If I was that bad of a human being, do you think she would do all this?
Why do you think that when you say that she doesn't want you to change? Why do you think that?
I don't know. I think she just, I think I hurt her bad. I think I've over the years I've really worn on her. I really want.
Okay, and then the other one I just want to play really quick because this one kind of triggered me.
We were going back and forth. She was sometimes staying at the house. We were going out to dinner. We were kind of, yes, we were separated, but we were still hanging out with each other. Meanwhile, she was dating this guy. And, I don't have the best track record. I've done my fair share of things. And maybe it's karma, but no, I'm sorry. It was 4th of July. I was leaving for a week for 4th of July. I was going to Michigan to see my sister, and she was going to Kentucky. And we had, I'll be honest, we had relations before I left, literally right before I left. And, things were looking good. Things were looking great. I come back home and I said, hey, what do you think about moving back? And she said, yeah. And then she was upstairs cleaning, and I just saw the iPad, and she was still talking to Julian and sending him pictures, like naked pictures and pictures of my son. And I was just like, I lost it. And that was my bottom. That was where I hit the bottom of the barrel. That's where I just saw red. I kind of had an out-of-body experience. I'm not going to lie to you. I went crazy. I threw furniture. Luckily, thank God, my son was upstairs. But that was my breaking point.
Okay. So I think that this would be triggering for a lot of different people for many different reasons. I don't know. Obviously, we all have our own backgrounds, but like growing up, I remember there was one point, and my mom's gonna hate me bringing this up, but I remember one time where my stepdad locked himself in a room with like a loaded weapon and was like breaking everything in the house and like really mad because he got himself so wasted and nobody knew what he was on, but he was believing what was going on in his mind. And it was like the man saw red, and legitimately probably one of the few times in my life that I was really like, oh, this is okay. Well, at least we're all going out together. Like, that's what I was thinking. So something like this is so triggering that you can get that violent, especially when knowing what you've been capable of and what you've done and what your track record looks like. This guy is such a class A narcissist, but please
100%.
go ahead.
Are we going to just drag Jax for the next few minutes? Because I'm game. If you guys are game, I'm game. That was a mess. That was awful. I want to take a shower. Can we break for a hot shower, please?
Yes, after this.
Okay, I'll jump in here for a sec.
Please.
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts. My first one being, and I talked about this on our plug TikTok, but something Brittany said in her interview really struck a chord with me, and it's so valid. And I'm not saying that she should hook up with one of Jax's friends, though it is so kismet. She said that her time in LA has only been with Jax. She's never dated in LA. She has, ever since she's been in Los Angeles, she has only been with Jax. So now she's like, how do I navigate this dating life as a single mom in this huge city? She's never done this before. And that really resonated with me because I'm like, oh my God, wait, she hasn't been a 20-something in LA. Yeah. So like now she's like, well, I wanted to date somebody like Julian. Again, it's not cool that he's Jax's friend. I wouldn't go anywhere near Jax's friends for obvious reasons. He's also a POS, clearly, because he was cheating on his girl when he was talking to Brittany. So again, she has a type. But I understand her perspective with like, I want to dip my toe in the dating pool. I know this guy. He's flirty with me. This is the perfect opportunity for me to test the waters with somebody who's been like barking up my tree and I know him.
Like, so, it's like almost like a certain level of comfortability with the familiarity.
Correct. So like I understood that perspective and I'm like, wow, Brittany, that's really real. I understand that. Like I get that. However, I can never trust what Jax is saying. Like I don't like, it is shitty if Brittany's like, Jax, I do want to get back together. And in the same breath, she's still like hooking up with this guy, in my opinion. Maybe I have scruples, but like, I don't know. But I don't know if that's true. You can't trust Jax at all.
Right. He's an unreliable narrator, number one. Point blank period. Nobody is going to argue that. But even in Jax's statement, he said she wants to take Cruz to the pumpkin patch. She wants to have dinner with Cruz. He mentioned Cruz in every one of those things. Let's say she called him for a booty call. She wouldn't be the first person to call an ex for a booty call in the history of ever. I'm not okay with it. I think she should stay as far away from him as humanly possible. I would not touch his thing with my worst enemy's thing. Like, we are keeping ourselves as separate from this person as possible. I recommend you do the same, Brittany. But if I was Brittany, on the other hand, I would pull a Katie Maloney, except I would do it. I would run a train through
Oh
Jax.
my God, Ashley.
I would sleep with the bartender. I would sleep with the doorman. I would sleep with the busboy. I would sleep with every contributing partner. I would boink them all.
Yeah.
With a smile.
No, that's so funny. Also, Jax, hello. Welcome to healthy co-parenting. Like, of course, yes, go to the pumpkin patch with Brittany and Cruz. Like, you guys are not, to Brittany or to Ashley's thing, running train at the pumpkin patch. You are taking Cruz there for family photos. You're going to Disney with Cruz. Like, you are helping him make memories as a child, because that is the only thing that matters is Cruz in this situation. So, Jax, what's your point? You guys are co-parenting? Like, okay, great.
I think actually, too, this is a good segue into our next topic that we can just kind of get out of here. But I was surprised to hear that Jax was claiming that it was 2 days after he threw the furniture that Bravo and Shed and Evolution, or whichever one, that they were shoving him into a facility if he wanted to keep his job and continue working, that he needed to go seek help. But I think it's because of all of the lawsuits that have been happening with Bravo. And they're looking at him like, you red flag liability of a mofo. No, you get your little cuckoo. No, cuckoo bird, get back in your clock. We are going to stick you in a facility. You're going to go to rehab, or else we are taking away your paycheck and you're screwed.
You're probably right, Adam. I could see that.
Yeah. Can we talk about the rehab of it all? I'm sorry. I'm coming in here as a non-expert, but somebody who grew up in Vegas. I've been around the pasta many a times in my life. I bartended through college. Like, I have been around the Vegas party scene. Jax sounds like he's gacked out of his mind in this interview. I'm not saying he is, but from my experience,
it's because he goes like this and he talks like this and he's like,
he sounds like he has enjoyed playing pool and hitting the 8-ball. Let's just say that he likes to play pool.
Was it a drug facility? Because I feel like there's so many different things though, because now I'm also, is it not like a mental health thing, or is it all one?
I actually don't know.
Okay, I do. I said, and I hate when people say this, but I said it from the beginning, like it really doesn't matter. But in the initial statement that Jax's PR person put out said something, and I'm pretty close to this. In one sentence, it said, as you've seen, he's been on a mental health journey. And the next sentence, it didn't say what kind of facility. He has been admitted into an inpatient facility. People inferred, rightfully so, that it was a mental health inpatient facility. But those were two different sentences, and I feel it was very carefully crafted. They said mental health facility for a long time, and in the last 2 weeks, people, Jax included, has just said rehab. He said rehab throughout that whole interview. He was in rehab. And I don't care. It's not a big deal, but don't shame people in rehab. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you have an issue and taking care of it for yourself and your family. Why is he lying about it?
Clock it.
To be honest, too, with that, and I'm happy that they made him do that. And I think that, I don't know if it helped with anything, but it's also not my journey. So I'm not gonna go in on Jax anymore over that. But I do think that Bravo and the production companies, like it's like one of those, if you see something, say something. Like if you see that this is going to be something that can spiral out of control for the safety of all parties who are contributing to the making of this TV show, like, yes, let's kind of try to see if we can't get ahead of this train. And, I just think that there's also a lot of abuse of power with things like this and decisions like this too. I don't even know if I'm saying this right, and I know that you ladies are going to be able to help me with this, but like even yesterday's court date, this is so rude of me, Ashley. There you go. Oh, you're still covered. No, even yesterday's court date or court hearing with Leah McSweeney and this fine woman here, and Andy Cohen's Rehab and Bravo. Warner Brothers was mentioned, Shed was mentioned, Evolution was mentioned, Bravo's mentioned, Andy's mentioned. And what she is claiming, obviously, if you guys don't know, is that she feels as though Bravo wanted her to sacrifice her mental health and her sobriety in order to give a good show. What I've argued about this since day one, and you guys do not have to agree with me. Actually, I love when people don't. But what I don't understand is, you took on a job. You were very aware of the job. You've known that Housewives have been around for a long, long time. You've had the opportunity to study the show. It's like getting ready for a test if you're about to go film with these ladies for the first time. And you obviously see that having fun, outings, events, galas, bars, trips, alcohol, all of these things they're all moving components that contribute to the show, right? You don't have to drink. There are some people who actually don't drink, and that's cool. But her going on and saying, well, this is what they were pushing me to do that. And by the way, I also know that Andy Cohen was doing the white powdery stuff with other housewives, and he was giving them favoritism. And then there was an executive producer who was sending nudes to other staff members. It's like, wait a minute. Now where's your argument? Because now it just seems like you're on a witch hunt. Are you mad because you feel like they did this to you? Or are you just like, oh shit, I'm never going to work on Bravo again, so I have nothing to lose, might as well sue.
Yeah. I guess my question is, what's her MO? what does she want out of this? Is she wanting just money? Okay.
Yes, that's how she started her first company.
True.
Exactly.
That's true.
That's the whole basis of her having any notability is, I forget what happened. I don't remember the story, but she explained it on her first season. She filed a lawsuit, won, and then put all that money into Married with the Mob. And Married with the Mob is what people in the Housewives world thought was interesting about her to put her on TV. This is a mess. Is she going to like ask for, does she have to charter private planes to not have alcohol in them?
Well, that's the problem. And this is the thing that's kind of annoying me, because my grandfather, he's no longer with us anymore, but he had a really, really hard time with alcohol. So much so to where like his wife at the time had to take his mouthwash and stuff and make sure that there was no alcohol content in it. Nothing could trigger him. And there are people, but he also would still go out to dinner with people. He could still be around other people drinking. He just could not indulge in it. Nothing about this makes sense. So you're saying that you're not going to restaurants, you're not going to friends' houses, you're not going to gatherings, you're not going to events, you're not going anywhere where there could possibly be an open bar or just the slightest hint of alcohol where there could be temptation.
Does she
Because
not go
that
to the
is all that
grocery
was done.
store? Like, how does she survive in the world?
But also look at Kyle Richards. She was on her sober journey for what, like 2 seasons, and she was around all the women who are drinkers, and she was not tested at all. And I'm not even going to pretend to understand alcoholism and all of that. That's not something I struggle with. So I'm not going to simplify it by any means necessary. But I feel like, Leah, like there has been housewives who, to your point, Adam, have not drinking and they do just fine. So I feel like that's now the easy, low-hanging fruit that people are clinging to now, which isn't cool because
I think it's a weak argument.
Yeah,
Right?
I do.
I mean, I don't think that sobriety and needing help, and like even Luann, we've seen her. She's a great example. She got her DUI. Gina Kirschenheiter, Shannon Bedore. We've seen it. We've seen it on franchises. We've seen Marisol Patton be accused. They let Marisol Patton bring her bedazzled cup on the reunion, where you know that shit's full of the stuff.
Correct.
The juice.
That's her whole
But, like,
personality.
yeah, well, but then in New Jersey, you have somebody like Margaret Joseph. She doesn't drink. You'll never catch her drink. She doesn't like to drink.
Oh,
She's
I never noticed that.
Yeah, but then you have somebody like Brandy Glanville who has been very open about it, and she needs like the whole freaking bottle in order to film a scene. I mean, I don't mean that literally, but she's been very open about how she has to gas herself up in order to go into some of these filming scenes because she gets
Tamara
like,
said that
anxiety.
too.
Yeah, and so did Tamara. So I think it's different for everybody, but I think at the end of the day, it's hard for anyone to handle going into a reality show. I was just talking to somebody who is really, really good friends this morning at my gym with JT. JT, the one from Southern Charm.
Okay. I thought we were talking about Justin Timberlake, and I was like, Adam, help me out.
No. Not that well connected, Imani. But
You just went ding.
I was like,
I know. She was like,
I'm coming this weekend.
No, but JT from Southern Charm, and he quit the show, and so there's going to be this storyline this season with him, and I better not get I don't think
You
I'll
already
get
said it once.
I did. Okay, I did say it. Yeah.
You
So
said
there's
it
a
was.
story-
Is it
Venita.
Venita?
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you. So if I've already said it, then I
before.
said
It's on the record.
Okay. So he's gonna have this storyline with Venita this season, but at the same time that he was doing the storyline with Venita, and he was actually, I think, actively pursuing something, if I have this right, which I don't know for a fact, I just know what I've heard from everybody. He also had a girlfriend who was at home, like that he was going out with, going on trips with, doing all of these things with. And then I think, once the trailer came out and everything, said girlfriend was like, you're not going to clown me out. Like, we've had all of these memories and moments, and this is what you on national television, you're going to do this to me. And now all of a sudden he puts out a statement saying, you guys, I can't do this anymore for my mental well-being. I'm going to end up leaving. That's not going to stop the footage from coming out, showing exactly what you were doing behind this girl's back, and also to Venita. It's going to come out. You quitting is just a coward way out, because at the end of the day, now you're going to feel stupid once it comes out, because you're not going to be able to tell your side of the story at the reunion or anything else.
Right. Oh, do you think he won't go to the reunion?
No, he's done.
Okay.
Done. You don't get to like quit out on green screens and do all of those things.
Okay.
And like, you're not doing your confessionals and then be like, you know what? I want to voice at the reunion. Yeah. It's like, you can't do that. But just the whole point is, you know, I feel like people, it's not a normal platform or job. And
Right.
it's not easy for people to handle. People crack under stress, and we've seen it so many times. But I guess the whole point is if you can't handle it, or you don't think that you're well enough for it mentally or emotionally, then maybe it's not the job for you, and that's okay.
I'm curious what the onboarding looks like for these shows. Like, do they put them through like a mental health evaluation? Do they check in how they are with alcohol and drugs and things like that? I wonder if that's in the process when they're interviewing for like new housewives, for example.
They do.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point.
Yeah. So they test you. First, obviously you get submitted. Then they see if they like you. They see what's going on in your life. If you're interesting, how you incorporate with the cast. Then they'll do an interview with you. Then they send it in. There's higher ups that look at the footage. If they think that you're good, then okay, they want to follow up. And then they'll come to your home. They kind of explore it a little bit more. And then they do another follow up. And then if they think that they want you, Bravo execs, or at least one or two, will fly in and they come and sit down and meet with you. But then from that point, they set up an evaluation for you to see like how well there you are before they put a camera in your face. And then if you pass all of those things and NBC and the doctors and everybody clears you, that's when you get to film.
Okay. So Bravo's doing their due diligence. I feel like at that point, it's kind of like on the adult. Like, it's on you to take yourself out of situations or not. I mean, like I said, I don't want to simplify an addiction at all because I don't have experience with that. But I don't know. I feel like this is a nothing burger, to borrow your word, Ashley, on Leah's end. I mean, like, you went through all the do. So, I mean,
I think it's exactly what I said. I think you just know that you have no future on the show, the network. And it's not like she was a very compelling housewife.
Right.
Again, that's not an insult. I think it takes a big energy and personality to be compelling reality TV. But Brian Scott Patterson said contractually can one do that. They will get fined. They will get fined. It depends. I'm not sure to the extent, but yes, there's a lot of like fines that come out. And I don't know specifically for Southern Charm, but for like Vanderpump Rules, I know that some of my friends were getting paid half up front and then half at the end after the reunion and everything was filmed. And it was sort of like
a drug deal.
It was like to make sure that you're, what'd you say?
A drug deal. It was like a drug deal.
No, it's not a drug. No, I know. I'm like, I was literally like Tamara in that moment. Like, yeah, no, they're talking about you. Oh, okay.
No, that was funny.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, half up front, half at the end. I mean, I don't think that they're going to fine him and make him pay anything. I think that they'll just take out of what was left to give him from his remaining.
It's like LVP. She didn't show up to the reunion. I don't know how that affected her financially though, but I know she didn't do the reunion.
I could tell you how it affected her financially. She's like, I'm going to go back to my $21 million home with my swan and my note.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Can I say something and you guys not hate me? And I'm talking to the Addams family and everyone. I loved Leah her first season. I thought she was amazing. I truly believed she was going to be the future.
No, I agree.
And here I am putting my foot in my mouth.
Actually,
I thought she was fun. Go ahead, Imani.
No, I agree. I think I told you guys last week, I'm currently watching RHONY. Like, I'm rewatching it. And so Tinsley left mid-season, which tear heartbreak. And so now I'm watching the reunion, and then I'm probably going to stop because I don't remember what happens next season, but I don't like when they get into the COVID seasons. I always tap out at that point. But right now at the reunion, they're all sitting 6 feet apart, and Tinsley came back to film the reunion. But to your point, I really liked Leah in the beginning. I really liked her and Tinsley together. I was sad Tinsley left to go be with Scott. I wish she didn't because I really enjoyed them together. But yeah, I liked Leah initially. I also liked Brandy initially. You know, it's
also though Tinsley, and what a stupid move on Tinsley. No offense to Tinsley, but Tinsley, girl, you're filming for 2.5 months. I would have told Scott, go set up Chicago, go get there, set up the penthouse. I'm gonna finish this, and I would have kept my job security, and then went and moved in with him, seeing how that was going to work out. And if it didn't, then thank God they don't start filming for like another 8 months. And I would have been like, oh no. Well,
Yeah, she played that wrong. She played it wrong, in my opinion. Obviously, considering she's not even with Scott anymore.
Yeah. Well,
but if she was with Scott, it would have been like a good thing. And you don't know unless you take that risk. I don't know. I love love. And she really thought, I don't know, maybe I'm just in a romantic mood today. But if it would have worked, we wouldn't have this conversation.
Are you in a romantic mood?
But here's my thing. I love romance. I love Hallmark. I want to be in one of those movies so bad. So if anyone listening to this has connections, I want to be in a Hallmark or Lifetime movie so bad. But anyway, if that's your real guy, he'll be like, you know what, Tinsley, finish your contractual obligation. Finish this out, do you, then come to Chicago, everything will be set up, and then we will like start wedding planning or whatever. But girl, like finish it out. You got it. I will be here for you when you're done.
Can I say too, like it's not necessarily the easiest to be in a relationship where somebody is getting like where parties are like successful and you have to like champion the other person and like put, you know, like kind of put them above you. And I have to give credit to my husband because like anything that I do, whether it was like doing live shows or if I like have to fly out and whatever it is, that guy's like sitting on the sideline like a momager and he's like, you're doing great, sweetie. Like, and he's like, hold on. And I remember one time, even when I was filming the Jen Shaw interview, he was like, stop. And Jen looked and she's like, wait, what? Did I say something wrong? And he's like, it's not about you. And then he came over with like a little like thing to like, there was shit all over my jacket from when we took a lunch break.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank you. And Jen goes, really? And I was like, oh, that's my husband. He's so nice.
No, he's so nice. I stand. But by the way, not to be Dorinda about it, but you met Scott on the show. So like I understood Dorinda's POV. It'd be one thing if he was like Lindsay Hubbard's guy. Like he's not on screen at all. He's in the background, in the shadow. She didn't even want to show his face. Scott was literally her storyline. So how are you then going to be like, Scott doesn't even want me to call him on this show? Like she wouldn't even call her boyfriend once Bethany was like, Tinsley, I simply dare you to call Scott. And she couldn't even do that. So I'm just like, you literally met him on the show.
Right.
So again, not to be Dorinda about it, but I understand that. Like, Scott, you can't come on the show this way and then not want Tinsley on the show at all. Like, that's weird.
I want to piggyback on that. I want to piggyback on that really quick too, because the biggest mistake that they made was getting rid of, and I'm not saying this because I'm friends with Dorinda. I love Dorinda. It was so dumb for them to put her on that pause. And I get that they were telling her I haven't even had this conversation, I swear to God, with her. I get that the rumor was that they were saying she was coming off a little like high energy or aggressive with Tinsley and some other situation. I think that's a conversation. That's a conversation between production and Bravo and Dorinda. I think that's a conversation that can easily cure something by being like, listen, your job's on the line. Like, we need you to tone it down. Tamra Judge has been very vocal recently about how she has been asked by producers multiple times to tone down the drinking. They're like, stop, you have to tone it down. And she listens when they say that. I don't know if Dorinda was afforded the same right. Maybe she was, maybe they did say that. But once they took her out and then they brought, you know, like they, of course, like filming during the pandemic was the death of the real RHONY. That's what it was. The pandemic, that was just a god awful season.
I think it makes me mad because as a Black woman, or, you know, anyone can speak to this. What also did RHONY in is they tried to course correct way too hard. And they tried to have these like thought-provoking conversations with people. Stop. You're not changing Ramona. Ramona is Ramona. You're not making her blue. Like, it is what it is. And so like, I appreciate them adding diversity to the cast because New York is such a diverse place. And I love diversity on these shows. I'm loving when they bring on people like Crystal Minkoff being integrated. Yes, lovely. Katie, like I like integration of that, obviously, but they tried way too hard to make it more liberal, and that's what ruined it.
It felt token.
Correct. That ruined it. COVID ruined it. They tried too hard because everyone's like, oh my God, RHONY is so MAGA. They're still like that now with, you know, the RHONY reboot. Everyone's like, You should have kept the old RHONY, but they're like, no, they were all horrible, racist, conservatives, whatever. I'm not speaking to that. But that's what ruined it. Bravo always does too much when they try to fix something. It's like nobody wants the race issue in your face 24/7. And that's what they were doing. And it was falling on deaf ears. It's a conversation to be had, but let's leave it for, I think, like Potomac and Atlanta addresses those really, really well. And it makes sense in that audience. Ramona is not listening. She doesn't care. And she's going to double down.
Well, and also to kind of piggyback off of that too, I think that at that time when these things were coming out, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong. So again, in the live chat or replay crew, do not eviscerate me for this. But I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think that it was so heavy with everything that was happening in the world. And it was a lot of change. People were stuck in their homes. Buildings were like getting torn down. Things were happening. We had protests. It was a different, there was a lot, right? There was a lot of noise happening and a lot of people wanted to be heard. And there also people who were checking into their TVs. A lot of times they want to sit back with their little glass of wine and they want to sit and just watch like mindless television to sometimes escape that loud noise that's happening in the real world. And then when you start implementing that on those cotton candy shows where they watch it to get that silly little fluff, like, well, your dress was $2,000 and I sold it at Neiman Marcus.
You smell like hospital.
You smell like hospital. Yeah. Like when you start changing that to those tougher conversations that really was never the actual makeup or algorithm of said platform, then the fans are not going to react well to it. I think it's like actually proven in this world that people do not like change.
Correct. And to your point, that's what the climate was at that time when COVID was happening. So much was happening in the world. And I'm not saying, and obviously as a woman of color, like it needs to be in people's faces. I'm not saying that, but there's a time and a place for that to be in people's faces. And the demographic watching RHONY at that time, like it wouldn't have landed well. And like I said, I think Potomac does a great job of addressing that. I think Atlanta does a great job of addressing that. Granted, the demographics watching them are different, certainly, but I just think they did too much too fast. And that's what tanked RHONY. And I'm not speaking for every person of color. I'm speaking for me. And as an avid Housewives viewer, I even was like, okay, Ebony, this is a lot. This is a lot every episode. And that never works. It never works to browbeat that way at all. I think Leah kind of did a good job with like educating people. Like, for example, on the tiki torches, there is historical context to that. And she explained it to the ladies and she did it enough where she made her comment. She said it on TV. If you cared enough, you would investigate it and research it. But then she went about her time. I think Leah did a good job of talking about important issues, but not browbeating the women about it.
So I agree. And before we move on to the next topic, who do you think is going to win this lawsuit? Bravo or Leah? Just if we had to guess, like
I don't think Leah really has much of a case.
Does she have the resources to continue it? Is my question.
I think it's like
lawyers working. I don't think I'm using the term pro bono correctly, but they work for free until she wins and then take payment. I don't know. I don't know what kind of her situation is financially, but I think this is what she does. I think she just files lawsuits and collects money and continues to live off of that. And maybe the court will see through it.
I think Bravo will win, mainly because it'll set a precedent. And I think they have to keep going the distance. It'll set a precedent. So what does this mean? Like, if you're upset and you're no longer on the franchise, you're just going to fire them about everything that you co-signed in the moment. But then now that you're not on the network anymore, now you're finding issue with it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Bethany Frankel.
Bethany. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the Jess and Lala thing really quick before I get into the reunion and a few other things. But for this, which we did talk about a little bit, guys, if we just had to give predictions, what the hell do you think happened here? Because this was not a peaceful exit by any means. I think we can see that.
Awkward. Imani's definitely been following this story more than me. I like Lala very much, but I don't really follow her that often. Like as far as her other things, I know Imani does a lot more than me. But I just, again, and I wasn't focused on it, but I just know that this was the same time frame that Ocean cut her hair, and Lala was so upset about this little girl cutting her hair. Like, girl, it's gonna grow back its hair. But I have a feeling that Jess was like in charge of Ocean at the time, or she was the one boots on the ground in the house, whatever. I have a feeling that happened on Jess's clock, and Lala lost her shit.
Well, Ashley, you commented that I think in a Facebook group or something. Somebody replied to it. I don't listen to Give Them Lala podcast unless like something of note is not happening. Somebody said that Lala said her mom was watching Ocean when Ocean.
Oh, okay.
So it was the mom that was there. I thought that was a good theory though, because like Lala, you would have thought Ocean buzzed her hair.
The way she reacted was really wild.
I have my own theory about that. I wouldn't dare say it on this because I don't like talking about people's kids, but I have my own theory, and like I said, I would never publicly say it.
So when we turn this off, I want to hear this.
Yeah, I'll say that. I don't know. Something happened. I saw a theory also too that because Jess broke up with her longtime boyfriend, I think his name was Kyle. I could be wrong on that.
Sliding in on Easton.
That's what somebody said, that maybe Easton and Jess hooked up and maybe it got messy, or maybe Lala had issue with it. I don't know. That was one theory. Someone else said, and I think this is probably more probable, that Lala just couldn't afford to pay Jess anymore. And I think that's what happened. Because
Brian just said the same thing.
Yeah, because somebody else was like, Jess asked for more money, and I think Lala might have said no. That's an alleged comment. I had read that somewhere. But I can see it.
Because, and by the way, Brian lives in the Valley. I think I have that right, Brian. You can correct me in the live chat. Because here's the thing. Scandival was great. It was great for everybody. The money was coming in, the ad revenue, the views. I mean, it was great for Ariana too. Listen, actually, no, it was great for Ariana. You dropped about 180 pounds of D-bag. And you literally, you turned something so negative, and I'm going to stand on this. You turned something so negative, and you showed so many little girls and like guys and people who look up to her and love her. And I hope little kids are not watching Vanderpump Rules, but if they are, which they could be, she showed so many people that you can turn something like this into a positive. So I think for her, it was a total win. I think that this was the universe, or whatever you believe in, God, however you want to say this. I don't want to offend anyone. I think it was their way of, like kind of putting her in the right position to weed out the negative from her life. And
I agree with everything you just said, but Scandival was crap to her. And
yes,
like you can't say that it wasn't terrible for her.
No,
yes,
it was.
She did all those things, but Scandival was terrible for her. She was done so dirty.
Yes. No, I agree.
Right.
I think that the long term it ended up. That's what I'm saying is like the long term. In the beginning of it, I couldn't even imagine, you guys, like people lining up outside of my house, like finding out that my whole life, everything just got turned upside down. I agree with you on that. But also going back to like the Jess and Lala stuff, like they made a lot of money. They all made a lot of money on the Send It to Daryl merch. It was 6 figures. Yeah, 6 figures. But somebody as somebody, YouTube is not like, this is not my only job. I love real estate. It's like my favorite thing in the world. That has been since I've been a little kid. My dad's an electrician. We used to go in all these big houses. He did like Celine Dion's like electrical and stuff. Like just seeing homes, I was obsessed. And I still am to this day. So knowing that she bought a $3 whatever million home and a $1 whatever million home, the cardinal rule is it's about $1,000 for your mortgage per $100,000 on the sale of the home. So if you bought a $3 million home and you put down $500,000, that's $2.5 million that you have left that you need to pay in a mortgage, which could be about a $25,000 mortgage easily. Especially with California taxes and all of that, and not counting the Palm Springs home. This is a lot of fucking money.
She's house poor.
I mean, that's a good poor to be. But yeah.
Sure. I mean, at least you're poor in your house, but like she overspent. Even Ariana, who's making tons of cash. I mean, Broadway doesn't pay, but she made money on all of Love Island, which I'm obsessed with.
You know what? Ariana, she's very real about finances. And maybe she's pandering to the audience in this, but I don't get that vibe from her. I don't think she has as much money as we suspect. Because
I think she knows how to spend her money smart.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, also she bought a $1.6 million home. And once the sale of this other home goes out, plus I believe, from rumblings, I think she put down about like 6 or 8 on the $1.6 million home, taking that down to an $800,000 mortgage. When she gets the money out of the sale of the Tom Sandoval home that she shares, say she puts another, say she puts in that, like she can easily just not have a mortgage and pay California taxes on that home. That is a financially smart decision.
Yeah.
And when people were giving her so much hell, why would you stay in that house with him? Look at Brittany. I'm not saying Brittany did anything wrong. She did what was best for her mental health. But she said she was in 4 different Airbnbs with her son and spent thousands and thousands and thousands. I look at my husband and I want to move to LA, and it's easily in the Valley, easily going to be $4,000 a month. Easy, $4,000 to $6,000 a month for a house, period. That's a lot of money.
Ashley, first of all, we need to chat offline because I did not know you guys are wanting to move to LA. So that's tea.
We've always wanted to. It's not something that's ever going to happen. We can't afford it. We've always wanted to move to LA. So
well, yeah, but then Thursdays with moms, that's going to stop.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, no, we would have to bring her, and she's a Vegas girl.
Yeah. I don't know. Adam, I know you saw rumblings on this because I saw a TikTok, but I'm interested to see this final season. I definitely think Vanderpump Rules has run its course, and that pains me to say because I've watched it from the first episode premiered on Bravo. Like I have been in the Vanderpump trenches in the alley of Sir. So I'm very curious to see how this last season goes. That's apparently 3 weeks of filming to close out the show. So I'm very interested in that.
I agree.
I don't think they need it. I think they should have saved their money. I think that, and again, it pains me too. I'll never forget Sheena seamlessly having that conversation with Brandi Glanville at the end of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then going straight into the server section with Stassi, and that was the beginning of Vanderpump Rules. It was art.
Cinematic.
We were lucky to be alive at the same time as that. With that said, the show's been dead. We are trying to beat a dead horse. Will I watch it? Of course.
Of course.
But I'm not looking forward to it. I feel like they ended the show last season, and this is everybody save your money.
I honestly think last season,
put it in the bank.
Last season really could have. I don't think they needed it. Sheena said that she thinks the fans deserve a proper ending, and I agree with that. That's
Sheena's way of saying that they all need a paycheck, and I love my
That's what I'm saying.
100% that there's motive there. I do think I wouldn't be mad at a farewell season if done right and not done corny and contrived. But Scandival gave the show, it breathed air back into it for like 1 year. So they should all be thanking Sandoval for that. Not that it wasn't traumatizing on Ariana, and it probably wrecked her in horrible ways. But it was on its way out prior to Scandival, and that revived it for a little bit, but now it's dead. Let's let the mouse go. Let's usher in new people. I'm excited to see the new batch of Sir. I think new works. Look at the Valley.
Yeah.
Look at OC right now. I think fresh works.
But then speaking of too, since we're over in the Valley, and so is Dorit and PK's Encino home, they have a $7 million plus home mansion in Encino. Actually, my science teacher, you guys, in Palm Beach, I asked her one time what classifies as a mansion, and her name was Miss Opabola, and she was super, super rich, and she wanted to be a science teacher just for fun. And she's like, well, my house is 11,000 square feet. And then as an adult, I ended up looking up her estate in Wellington, which was like incredible. And she's like, so a mansion to me, it's like 10,000 square feet or more. So technically, Dorit and PK's 7,000 square foot home to Miss Opabola does not count as a mansion. However,
hilarious.
It's a gorgeous home, and they are from what Reality Blurb is saying, 4 payments behind on their mortgage, which has put them into pre-foreclosure. And actually, the first time that I saw anything about this was from you guys I'm gonna let you guys take this away.
Ashley, you go for it because this is your story.
Okay, so I feel like you kind of said a lot of that just in your intro. They are not making their house payments, and when you don't make your house payments, this is what happens. Dorit went from Beverly Hills to Encino. Where does she go from now? Are we going to Riverside? I'm not being shady to Riverside. I'm only saying that because that's where Julie Cooper was from, and they threw that shade on the OC.
No.
So that is an OC reference. Actually, I had some very good times in Riverside. But my point is, where do we go from here? We have PK on a new TV show. Did you guys know he had a show?
I had no idea.
And I didn't know it was on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. It's 6 episodes, and it's basically the same show as everybody else. It's a high-end real estate show, blah, blah, blah. Have I watched it? No. Will I watch it? No. Dorit obviously needed the money because before she signed on for this season of Housewives, they threatened her and said, if you are not clear about the problems in your marriage, your husband living in a hotel, we're going to move you down to a friend of role. And she had to make the decision, do I stay a housewife or do I do all this stuff in private and keep my marriage? She's still a housewife.
Correct. I did see that story. So then I have a question for you guys then. And again, this is all alleged. What do you make of this now with the home invasion?
Well, I said this yesterday. I said, listen, I never want to insinuate things. It was like kind of like I'm prefacing this like I did with Teddy, my video about Teddy. I'm like, I don't want to see the demise of a family. However, no, I don't want to insinuate things. I think that with the reporting of like how do you say when it's insurance claims?
Insurance fraud?
Yeah. Well, insurance, I mean, they had insurance claims. Like I'm looking at it right now and it says, according to separate reports obtained by the U.S. Sun, they had to pay off a $635,000 IRS tax lien. That was for their 2015 taxes. Then they owed for 27 and 2018 and 2023. There was a balance of $90,000 left. PK still owed nearly $1 million in taxes as of last year. Then as of 2023, PK owes a combined total of $986,000 in taxes. And then he was also met with a gambling debt of $2.27 million, which he paid off in 2022. So it kind of, to me, seems like it's one of those things like you guys, anybody can relate to this because not all of us can relate to $2 million debts. I certainly can't. But it's like, guys, when you charge your credit card and you're not paying attention to the balance and you're like, okay, well, I pay it off at the end of every month. And, you know, there was an extra $500 this month. I can't pay it off, but I'll just tack it on to next month and I'll pay it off then. And then it just starts to mount up and it gets ahead of you. And then it's really hard to catch up with it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was always kind of a conspiracy theorist when it came to that break-in. I'm not saying, I don't think Dorit knew about, I don't know that PK, I'm not saying he set it up for whatever reason. I'm not saying that. It was just such an interesting home invasion, one in which like they leave your phone. Like it was just such an interesting situation that I hadn't seen before. So now with this story coming out, my brain just kind of linked it. And so I'm just curious if there's any connection there. If it was PK that did kind of like plans in place, I don't know. I'm not alleging that. I'm just curious.
A lot of people have said that. It didn't cross my mind, but the amount of times I saw that online about there being something fishy with that whole home invasion, I mean, it got me thinking, and I didn't even really think, I know it was the house that was invaded. I saw the picture of the house and I was like, oh, that's where he left the phone, that very nice burglar. But like, I know I had this friend in middle school who, I'm in Vegas, so there might have been some like mafia ties. I don't know. I was in 8th grade, but there had been something that happened to their house, but they made sure that the wife and children were not there. And from what I understand, again, like I'm in Vegas. We hear about mobster stories all the time. They don't mess with the wife and children. So if it was like some pre-planned thing against them, not planned with them, but if it was a plan against them, I don't think they would have done it with the wife and the children in the house.
Well, I remember when those stories were circulating last year, whatever year that was, they were saying that they got the day wrong and Dorit and the children were not meant to be there.
Oh,
That's what I read, that like they weren't meant to be there. The dates got kerfuffled. And again,
and that would make sense with the phone because they felt bad.
Yeah. So
because they don't do that. That's not their philosophy.
Yeah. They're like,
Yeah, you don't leave a phone for people to call on you. You want to eliminate as much like you want to allow yourself as much time as possible to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Right. It was very interesting. It was like a humane burglar. It was
right.
I don't know. So
and wasn't it Edwin's husband's company that had
no,
like the
it
security
wasn't.
system?
Teddy's husband? No,
yeah,
I don't think it was.
I
he
sounds familiar though.
I think it might be true.
Oh.
I remember someone's security system being in play here. I don't know. It was just so perfect that like I don't know. It was just I don't know. Something about it is fishy. Again, I'm not saying that they did it legally. Like, do not come for me. But I understand why people were theorizing. Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Well, Ashley's looking at that too. I did want to play another clip for you guys. Ashley's.
It's not true.
Okay.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's not true. It was a rumor, but it's not true. As per Teddi.
So
another reliable narrator.
So speaking of Teddi, actually, thank you to Ashley for bringing her name up. We're going to talk about the accountability coach who all of the Bravo fans are saying took zero accountability in this clip right here. Again, thank you to Breaking the Rules pod clips.
I just wanted to say one thing at the beginning of the pod, because I'm sure everyone has seen everything all over the World Wide Web.
Yes, I did just see some stuff all over the World Wide Web. Teddi, Joe.
And what I can say, and which I'm trying there's multiple sides to every story. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, but there's many people involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I once again say the same statement I said before. The kids, they're the priority. And so for the time being, that's all I'm going to discuss on this.
All right, and I understand.
No, I don't understand. No, because that's seriously saying I'm not going to confirm or deny is essentially just confirming. Because if you came to me and said, Adam, I know you've been cheating on Jason with so-and-so, and I know I have not been cheating on Jason with so-and-so, then I'm going to say, prove it. Mm-hmm. You're a liar. I did not do that. And I can confirm that I didn't do it. And honestly, I'd offer you money if you could come up with something to prove that I did do it. Mm-hmm. And that's like, I would stand on that so hard. Mm-hmm. This accountability coach who got your surgeries.
Yes.
Also telling people this is the same woman. If she was anybody on a movie that I've ever seen in my life, she'd be the one from Legally Blonde, the one who didn't have the alibi because she wouldn't give it to him.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly. Yeah. Wyndham Burke.
Yep.
Burke.
Wyndham Burke.
I was getting liposuction.
It's the accountability coach who's like, ladies, we all need to eat better and feel better. Yes. Cut me open and take 20 pounds of fat out of this and stick it in my ass. It's like, no.
I'm going to say it. Looks are not everything at all. I'm a personality girl myself. What the hell?
WTF, girl. It was an emotional affair. So maybe
he must be the nicest person in the United States.
I'm sure he's so funny. He's got a great sense of humor. It feels so good as a woman because how many times has an unattractive woman, and I'm doing air quotes because people are trash for saying that, but oh, I bet she has a great personality. Can I just say as a woman how great it feels for once to say, I bet he has a great personality.
He has a great something.
Because I'm a visual thinker.
Ashley, I'm just calling it out because if he approached me at a bar, I would have been like, not not interested. So I wouldn't have even learned about his personality. And again, I'm such a personality girl. Like, looks are not everything. And Ashley and I actually were joking. I don't want to put our business on. Okay. So like we were talking about it. I don't really find Edwin that attractive, and neither does Ashley. So
No, but that's okay. That's, you know, like that's
not everybody's type. He's not a bad looking guy.
Legitimately, it's okay. It's not, as long as you're not slamming somebody's looks for them to not be your type and for you not to find them attractive.
Edwin
that's normal. That's what happened.
Edwin wouldn't touch me with the 10-foot pole. So okay, we're mutual there. But I'm so confused on the situation. And for that guy to cheat on his wife or whatever the situation was when she was pregnant, to me.
They were in Florida. Florida.
It's a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug, boning while his wife is in California birthing their children.
Also, what part of Florida? Just want to know.
I have no idea, but I need to know all of a sudden because our girl is in Florida and we need boots on the ground.
We need boots on the ground. I'm going to go to that equestrian center and be like, what's happening? Oh my gosh. And this is horrible. One of our followers sent us, I think his page is on private, but they screenshot it. He was sharing photos of Slate, Teddy's daughter. That's diabolical.
Hold on. The horse guy?
Yes.
Was the girl riding the horse or something?
I don't know.
Hung like a horse.
Oh God, maybe. No,
good
but,
one.
Your
math. Hi, math.
They screenshot the photo of Teddy's guy. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Edwin?
What is it?
Simon Schroeder or Edwin?
Simon Schroeder.
Simon Schroeder. He was sharing photos of Slate, like riding horses and stuff. And so they screenshot it because he's on private. And I'm like, shut up. That is diabolical.
Okay, so while we're on this, I made a note a few minutes ago. We were talking about Scandival, but it comes back to this too. Scandival, the whole thing was, it's bad. It's so bad that Tom did this, but the worst part of it is that it's in the friend group.
Right.
Just for the record, Jax said that him and Brittany had a deal about not hitting anybody in the friend group, which number one, I don't think anybody believes.
And Brittany said it's not true.
Yeah, who said? Oh, Brittany said it's not true. Yeah, it sounds like a lie. Who's going to believe Jax? We believe you, Brittany. Unblock us, please.
Unblock us.
Also, unblock us, Brittany, because we're blocked by Brit too, and that's not okay. Brittany, we love you. But also, if horse guy, aka Simon Schroeder, is training Teddy's horse, because he was like the one in charge of training Teddy's horse, and sharing photos of Slate. Was he in the family friend group? Like maybe he wasn't like friends with Edwin, but like he had to have been around the family.
Had to,
right?
If he is comfortable enough sharing pictures of Teddy's daughter with Edwin on his Instagram page, that leads me to believe he has been around the family in some capacity.
In the friend group.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I don't like it.
But also like we don't know what Edwin and Teddy's relationship was. And so I also saw rumblings that Edwin cheated as well. Maybe they had an arrangement to keep the kids, you know, I don't know that. But if Edwin's cheating and Teddy's cheating, at that point, you guys have an open marriage. Maybe they didn't want to say that because maybe Teddy has like an image to uphold. I don't know. But it is
about the timeline. I'm still
the image of a construction site trash can.
Right. So I went to the 2 T's in a Pod on a Friday night, like 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Technically, it was called TwatsCon, but yeah.
TwatsCon, thank you. I went to TwatsCon on a Friday. Allegedly, according to all the reporting, they're saying that that's the day that Edwin found out about the affair. How in the hell? Teddy is not an actress. I've seen podcast clips of her and Tamara trying to play off of each other. Like,
and Eddie wasn't there, right?
What's that?
Eddie wasn't at TwatsCon, correct?
Edwin was not there.
Edwin, sorry.
No, you're right. No, Edwin was not there, which is weird. And all of a sudden they say he found out that day. I'm sorry, Teddy is not an actress. I don't believe that she was able to go and perform to the level, because she and Tamara were right on it. They were like right there. They were on their game that night. I don't think she could have done that, having literally her whole world fall apart earlier.
Fair enough on that. And I think Tamara would have almost not brought it up, but like I feel like Tamara would have alluded to it in a way. I don't know, because Tamara's nothing if not advantageous.
Which
really well said.
I was gonna say too. By the way, you guys, I see Vicky Harnish, Kelly, please, Adam. I know you guys want me to. If you guys want, I will call Kelly Dodd on the phone with you guys here, and I will ask her what happened with John Arthur Hill. I don't know. I haven't.
I have another question for her too, and it's
Actually,
about
call
Kenya
her.
Moore. So if you don't mind, we have 2 questions for Kelly Dodd.
Let me ask. Hold on.
Okay.
I find Rick to be so attractive, by the way.
Rick is attractive.
Rick is a banging dude.
He is.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, babe. What's up?
I'm on live right now. Is that okay?
Yeah. I just had Daily Dose of Donna on live.
Oh, nice. I wanted to
Can
ask
you put your receiver, Adam? I'm sorry, Adam. Can you put your receiver closer to the microphone?
Yeah.
Your phone, so we can hear Kelly.
Kelly, did
Yeah.
John Arthur Hill ever apologize?
Well, it's so funny. You just said this. Everyone says he apologized, but on his show, I didn't even know he had his own show. Did you know he had his own show?
I didn't know that.
I'm at Sirius XM all the time. I had no idea he had his own show. But someone said that he said it was a poor choice. It wasn't an apology. I didn't hear it. He has my phone number, and if he doesn't have my phone, which I know he does because I was on his podcast when I first got fired. So he has my phone number, and he can get it from Jeff or you can get it from Andy Cohen. And he could have called me. So then I like to get to the source, so I like to call. They said that Daily Dose of Donna said that he did, and then she said he didn't. It was like a half-ass apology. I don't know. He could have called me because what he said was so horrific. For me, calling him a communist doesn't warrant that kind of. I mean, listen. I called people names? Have I called Shannon a cunt and Vicky a pig? Yeah, I have, because they came after me first. Shannon brought those girls from the 70s party over to harass me. She got a private investigator on me. Shannon, what's her face, that I did cocaine and I did sex trains. Like it's like I say things in reaction to, like, you know what I mean? I don't just go and attack people that.
Then I had one more question for you before you leave. Last time we talked with you, you were saying how when you're on Bravo, you're an independent contractor, right?
Correct.
Well, Kenya Moore just recently, she went on Tamara Hall and she said that she's still under contract with Bravo, even though she left the show like mid-season, and that she's still an employee of the network and she still receives checks from the network. Does that sound right?
No.
I knew it.
When you have a contract, you do have a contract with them. So like for instance, Peggy Tanos always says, I had a 2-year contract. Yeah, they have a 2-year contract with you. You don't have a 2-year contract with them. It's not like Rick. When Rick worked for Fox, he had a 3-year contract guaranteed. So if he got fired, they would have to pay him. They have it's like a one-sided contract over there. So no, that does not sound right. And Vicky has been on since the day of dawn, and she was never heard of anything like that.
Okay, perfect.
So I don't know how she was getting residuals, because everyone has the same contract, a one-sided contract from Bravo.
Got it. All right, I'm gonna go finish this live, and then I'm gonna call you guys after.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, thank you for that, because that was information I was dying. I heard Kenya's interview yesterday. And I was like, no, I don't believe that for 1 second.
I like how people are in the live chat. They're like, Adam, we love when you do this. Sometimes I just want to get to the bottom of it, and I'm like, let's just call.
I love the gag.
Yeah,
kind of gagged.
But okay, so we got that, and we got the Kenya thing. That was like a 2 for
I will be reporting on Kenya's lie as soon as we get off of this live. Some other blogger beats me to it.
They won't.
Before we get off, though, too, I did want to. Oh shit! I should have asked Kelly while she was on the live, because I heard her. But guys, we got to talk about this.
I also wanted to talk about Katie Janela's daughter,
Kylie. Oh, Kylie.
So you go first, Adam. But I wanted to hear both of your takes.
Well, you saw Emily Simpson's former nanny came out, right?
Yeah.
And said to Katie, "Hi, Katie. First off, you're an amazing addition to the franchise. We need more women like you. Also, if you want to share this with your daughter so she knows that she's not crazy. But I used to nanny Emily Simpson's kids, and they always talked about how they hated Heather. Annabelle would give me all the juicy gossip, and I feel a bit disgusted that Emily was pointing the finger at your daughter when she was kind enough to watch the boys. They ain't easy, but I just wanted to let you know that Emily is totally lying. The kids do know Heather. They know what's going on. I don't like your daughter taking the blame for that on TV, especially from Heather.
I knew Katie was telling the truth when Emily said, "I'm not saying your daughter is a liar." That told me everything I needed to know. And also, who doesn't talk about work in their house? Like, all of
that
them.
was my point. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like growing up, I knew all the. I used to sit at the dinner table and I would listen to my dad talk the shit about the other lineman and his job, and I'd listen to my mom be like, "This bitch at work did this," and I'd be like, "Oh, not that bitch. She did that. Oh no, Mom, you better get her."
I lived for my mom's tea even as a child. I was clocked in, and that's what happens in a house. And like, come on. And also too, like, children are very perceptive and they pick up on a lot more than you think. I posted about this earlier. I think the truth lies in the middle. I think that Emily's sons 100% said what Katie said. Katie's daughter said they said. I think Kylie probably antagonized the situation because clearly she's messy. She posted that TikTok and she's 20. What 20-year-old girl is not messy? I was very messy.
She's gorgeous, but she's messy. But also where they messed up here too is Katie. And I know that and this is just a shot in the dark here, you guys. She obviously has had a rough go at it, like with her kids. And she at one point was homeless, and she said that, and she had to really fight for her kids and get them back. And she has been through like the low lows and the high highs. And I respect it. Literally reminds me of my mother. It does. But I think in doing that and taking the kids on the journey with you, it really sort of dilutes that role of you as total parent and kind of take you into friend.
True.
You know?
Valid.
And I think, thank you. And I think that in last night's conversation, when she was like, well, I asked her again, and she was like, no, I didn't do it. So if she did it and she's lying to me, like she told me she did not do that, you are a total what she should have said to her daughter, even as a 20-year-old young woman. I signed up for this show. I understand that I brought you into the confessionals. Let me handle it. You do not need to be doing podcasts. I would freak out. Her daughter should not be doing podcasts. Well, it's just a bad look for her.
Agreed. And this speaks to a broader issue. I know this happens a lot with Gia Giudice on New Jersey. They're like, you can't bring Gia into it. But then Gia also has a mouth. So it's like, yes, they are the children of these people, but also they're adults. Brianna Culberson also was just as much in the mix with Vicky. So it's just like, it opens a conversation. And so I'm not saying Kylie's fair game because she's not. But if my mom at 29 years old, if my mom was like, Imani, delete that picture off Facebook, I would do it. Because I don't know, if my mom tells me to, I will. But maybe that's just hashtag growing up black. But like, I don't know, like Kate, she should not have posted that TikTok. Katie should have insisted she delete it because it makes it worse on Katie. Kylie should had no right to post that TikTok. I was like offended with the cast alongside her because I'm just like, you can't in one breath say she's 20, she's a child, but then in the same breath, she's talking shit about your co-stars on TikTok.
It's the same exact issue that they have with Gia.
Exactly.
It's like you can't say, oh, okay, well, she's a child and she's off limits, but then she has a voice, and then they don't get to kind of combat what is being said. That's not fair.
Yeah,
like,
I also am very protective of my mom. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't take the approach of Gia or I wouldn't take the approach of Katie. But to your point, when you are so like in the trenches with your children, there are blurred lines of a friend versus a parental figure, like do what I say regardless. So that's definitely an interesting take on that.
I was with my mom. Do you guys remember Tortilla Republic next to Sir?
No.
Okay, so it was the place where we would all go and everybody would take shots before whether it was filming or working or whatever. And like Tom and Stassi, everybody went to Tortilla Republic. Are you muted?
No, I was just mouthing, like taking shots before work.
Oh, yeah. You're like, no, I was mouthing. You're not picking up on it.
I'm like,
But we were there, and it was Cinco de Mayo. And there was this guy who came over, and my mom was in town visiting. I was taking her around LA, and she is my best friend. And she was like, oh my God, where do you want to go? I said, where do you want to go after this? From West Hollywood, let's go to Malibu. Let's do something. And we're just enjoying our little, like, whatever. We were Ubering everywhere. And this guy comes over, this gay gentleman, and he comes over and he goes, hey, let me buy you a drink. And I was like, no, but thank you. That's really nice. And he's like, I said, let me buy you a drink. And I was like, and my mom goes, Adam, we're not doing that. And I was like,
Yeah.
you've been touched by an angel. Okay.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm talking to mom, and they sent over a mariachi band, this guy, to come sing Happy Cinco de Mayo. So sitting there, and I was like, okay, I'm playing along with it, singing and whatever. And then finally, like, as we're sitting there, like, talking, the guy comes back over and he's like, you want to apologize? And my mom stands up and she goes, get the f- out of here, you. And like, literally, like, kind of took the reins because she knew that I was probably going to lose my shit, my 21-year-old self. And I'm just like, yeah, that's like, like when you got it together and you're in adulthood with your parents, you're just like, let's go out. You want to go out to the restaurants? You want to go to the bar? You want to go to the beach? Let's do it. But if we're going to do it, I got your back, mom. Somebody gets you, I'm going to get them. And if I get got, you better get them back.
Correct.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's one person who I think I would believe more than anybody in this situation. I think, and I believe this with my whole heart, that we can get the truth from Annabelle Simpson.
Agree.
That girl will talk, and she's going to tell it like it is. She's not going to sugarcoat for her mom. She's not going to sugarcoat for anybody else. We will get the truth from Annabelle. Call her up. We need Annabelle on the line.
Call Annabelle.
Shane watches. Shane's probably watching right now. Shane watches.
Shane, we want your daughter. Actually, can Taste of Reality not sound like total creepers if we reach out to your daughter? Like, it's not creepy.
No, you're going to get sued.
I'm going to get sued between that and the Bronwyn, me wanting Bronwyn to bring her clothes to her event tonight. Like, people are going to have restraining orders against me.
Tamara's already about to sue another blogger. Like,
oh, God.
Let's
not us.
Let's reel with it. No, it's not them. It's not me. Don't worry, guys. I even talked to Tamara about this. I was like, I didn't do this, because Tamara calls me out about everything. She's like, why are you such an asshole? I'm like, why are you such an asshole? And she's like,
touche.
I'm having a day. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm having a day too, Tamara. And like, then we always start on a high, and it's so aggressive with each other. And then we come back, and then I'm like, no, I really like you on the show. And she's like, well, that's really sweet, Adam. Thank you. And then it's like 3 weeks later, and it's like, what the fuck, Adam? And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. So, but I did want to ask, just getting back to it as we round out this live, you guys, this sort of interaction last night, and just I had secondhand embarrassment, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree with this or not, but even coming in, and what did she say? What did she repeat that John said? Because I'm like blanking on it.
It was
she has an interesting something with the truth.
Relationship
with the truth.
Oh my God. I'm like, Alexis, like, you just keep freaking digging that hole for yourself. You look like it's like on the first Ultimate Girls Trip. If you guys don't know, because I love me some Bravo and some Peacock and all of the other shit. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. We went to Turks and Caicos, and Ramona was saying that Teresa was the Tin Man with no brain. She had no brain. In this moment, Alexis, you're looking like the brain that you have in your head is also conjoined with John Jansen's brain, and you're not giving us any Alexis Bellino. This is not your career. 15 years on TV. Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about.
You're a TV star.
5 shows. Is she counting an appearance on Watch What Happens Live? I am so confused.
I know.
What 15 years that she's talking about? I'm dead. I don't get it.
Do you remember how like 2 weeks ago I was like, I'm going to be nicer to Teddi. I'm going to be nicer to Alexis because they are so kind in person. Yeah, I'm sorry. It lasted a couple weeks. What the heck was that? What on earth was that appearance? Shannon left no crumbs. Heather and Tamara thought they did in the reunion. They thought they did it. No. The one who did it was Shannon Bedore. Shannon nailed the whole, how many times did you practice? There's the door, Shannon Bedore. But
The
my
edit.
favorite thing,
The
Shannon
edit.
should have mentioned, Alexis is the, first of all, there was no door, and Shannon's not the one who left the conversation. Alexis did. It was
No,
such a
Alexis
flop.
wanted to use that line so bad. She was like, let me just do it now because I don't even know if Shannon's going to film with me. She's like, let me just put all my eggs in this basket and say my line on the opening night and have it be a thing. And it was not a sound bite. She thought it was. It wasn't.
No, Shannon ate her alive last night.
But then when they showed that she did that same thing with Emily Simpson in the van, the car, like on the way, I'm like, Alexis, everything that Shannon is saying as a woman who was in a relationship with John Jansen for 4 years and talking about how John would contribute, what the hell with the light? How John Jansen would contribute to the conversations and try to help her like figure out how to navigate some of the drama and tell her what to say or don't say, and like how she's going to look better on TV. She's like, I know he's doing the exact same thing with Alexa.
100%.
And then you see it and they're calling her out and she's like, okay, well, actually, Shannon, you did deserve to get sued. And Emily was like, no, obviously she didn't. She won the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what was going on with that lawsuit. Well, then shut the hell up.
Exactly. You sound stupid.
She sounded so dumb.
Stupid. It's better to not say anything than to like sit there and either incriminate yourself or sound like a complete moron. And you sound like a moron.
I can't remember who told Alexis. She was like, my advice for you is to not be John's mouthpiece. That would have been the best course of action she could have taken.
Yeah,
is to not be John's mouthpiece. And she was. And it's just like, Shannon, this is where you're going to lose the women every single time.
Right. No, Tamara was being so solid in telling her that. Like, Tamara was having her back.
Yeah.
And she just.
And then what got me the most, and I know you guys have to go, so I'm sorry, but what got me the most is Andy, if they're not going to let me talk, then I'm going to walk off. And I'm like,
okay. Well, Shannon was like, bye.
There's the door.
Yeah,
Can you imagine if Shannon would have been like, there's the door.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Done that. Oh my God.
That would have been amazing.
But she's also, I don't think that Shannon's as calculated as Alexis. I think that there are moments of being calculated for her, sure. But I think that Alexis comes in with her little like, it's kind of like what Ashley said yesterday about Lisa Barlow. Like, I have more proof in my tequila than you do in your story to Whitney Rose. And even though she didn't nail the landing of it, you could tell that it was a little, she knew that she was going to say something like that.
Yeah.
And I just wish that Shannon also, she handled herself very well. She clowned out Alexis. Alexis looks like a fool.
I think
Shannon had a great season.
Shannon had a great season. 100%. She did. And that
after a DUI, how on earth did she have a DUI and still have? I mean, I thought this was just going to be awful for Shannon, 100%. And it was the opposite.
Well, you know what? She had a great season, and I know. And I'm just like, in theory, Gina could have come in this guns blazing at Shannon. The best thing Shannon could have ever done at that party is immediately apologize to Gina. That just harmed her the entire season, and Gina had Shannon's back the entire season off of that one apology. And that would have changed the tide entirely, because if Gina wasn't rocking with Shannon, Emily wouldn't have been rocking with Shannon either. Right. So, like, that was very smart on Shannon's part to apologize immediately. And that set the scene for the entire show.
I love Gina, Shannon, and Gina, Shannon. Oh my gosh. And Emily, thank you. I love their friendship. I saw Kim from Bravo Breaking News saying that they're the new Tres Amigas. Couldn't agree more.
I know. Kay said Adam was a reunion filmed before Alexis and Johnny broke up. They have not broken up, you guys.
They're very good together. Yeah,
they're still together. But what I did want to say too is I got to give it to Gina, because when you talked about her kids, you sat there, you even admitted on camera, like, I love talking about her DUI. You said that in the car. You made fun of her at her expense of like the lowest time. You did all of those things and she still gave you grace. Yeah. That's honestly, I'm giving it to Gina on this one. And for Shannon, Very smart move because you came in
Yeah.
with not a lot of allies.
Correct.
But even at the end of the day, you coming in with not a lot of allies, this season was supposed to be the demise of. So the fact that they switched this around, and you know she came into the season like they're all going to burn me. Everyone's going to be against me.
On the show, like I was, because Jeff Lewis was like, they put Shannon in the lion's den, essentially. And that could have easily have been the narrative of this season. And it was so funny how it switched on Tamra. Like, who would have thought? Like, Tamra went into the season high and mighty. They read it so wrong. They read the audience so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, ladies, we've been on for almost an hour and a half. I never do lives this long. That's absolutely insane to me. But I'm going to.
Busy week. And we didn't even hit everything. Like, this week was insane.
It was.
I mean, honestly, you're not kidding at this point, but you guys can decide who wants to sell what off first. But while you guys, I'm going to bring up, I just brought up Instagram and the website, and I'm going to bring up the TikTok while whoever is going in on the Instagram. Here we go.
Alrighty. Our Instagram account, this week has been good for us because it's been such a turbulent week in Bravo. But yeah, give us a follow on Taste of Reality. Our Instagram account is Taste of Real. Wait, hold on. Oh my God, Ashley.
Taste of _
Yeah, now me stumbling over our handle. But yeah, we have a lot of fun over there. So you can follow us there. We share our stories on there too with clickable links. But our website is really the place that we love to have everybody go. That's how we are able to sustain ourselves and support ourselves on our website until, TikTok grows more. Just some breaking the fourth wall there. And Ashley, go ahead.
All righty. So we love the website. We love the fact that we have such active conversations. So we have live discussion posts in case you want to have somebody to chat with while you watch the show. The best thing about the Taste Buds, they name themselves, which we think it's hilarious, but they're very kind to each other, but they absolutely drag the Bravo or any reality TV. I mean, they speak their minds and they're not cute about it. No. So if you're a Bravo person, I wouldn't go recommend you looking in our comments. However, if you're a person like us who likes to engage in mess, come in the sandbox and we'll play around. Yeah, we try to break all the stuff about Bravo. Oh my God, that is way too much of my mug. Like, this is like one of those like circus mirror like a mirror wall. I'm terrified at my face right now, but we've been TikToking thanks to Adam's recommendation. He's like, why aren't you guys on TikTok? And we're like, why aren't we doing TikToks? So we're doing TikToks and we get shady because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'm watching how fast you guys are growing on TikTok. Definitely keep doing that. You guys will, I'm telling you, you'll grow it so fast, and we'll keep obviously putting it out on here. But as far as the tasteofreality.com site, you guys, they did like a total facelift on it, and it's so much more easily accessible, I think, as far as like the organization on it and to see and where you want to go, and 100%. And right now, Jason and I are dealing with our own website issues with a different business, but like, it's a lot of work, you guys, to put in to making a website user friendly. People think it's so freaking easy. Like, you click on, and then when you see something and something doesn't work, you're like, oh my God, this trash box website. But
right?
It's heaven forbid there's a glitch. We get dragged.
You're not the only one there, sister. But then on top of that, also for Instagram, guys, remember taste_of_reality. Just following it, following the TikTok, and checking out and being a part of the live discussions while you are watching your favorite shows. It's all free. It's a community. You guys get to be a part of it, just like you do over here for the Addams family and the live chat. And that's the best part, is like, we get to kind of talk with people who are like-minded. It's kind of taking you back to the old MySpace chat room days where you got to kind of pick like, okay, I want to talk about art or animals or serial killers or whatever else you wanted to talk about. I don't know.
Yeah. So thanks so much for everyone who does decide to follow us or check out our site. It means so much to us, and it's so helpful in helping us to grow and get out there. So we are so appreciative to you, Adam, as always, and to your Adams family who do decide to come over and hang out with us.
100%. We're grateful for you guys too.
Weekend. Love it.
Yes. Care Bear says, bye, Adams family. Be good. It's a full moon weekend, guys. I never do good on a full moon weekend, so wish me some luck. But I'm going to get off here and do some TikToks for you guys. We have 6 other videos coming on from Up and Adam channel 1 and 2 and multiple polls today, also on Instagram, everywhere in between. And I got to go check on my mama bear because she's moving into her place today. So I love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys. Smash the like button. Don't forget. Get subscribed. Bye.